Hello, lovely Starseeds. Welcome to Source Energetics. My name is Ashtara, and I'm honored to connect with you today to talk about the Starseed era that is here. And this is the moment that you incarnated here for. If you were ever living your whole life thinking, why am I actually here? This is not what I signed up for. This is what you actually signed up for starting now. And I know you could feel it in the cells of your being, and there's an actual literal shift in the vibratory field of the dimensional interface that we are able to access. And when I say now, I'm not talking about any specific time, but I mean the bandwidth of frequencies, the octave of a range of interacting with reality that is actually filtering through the time continuum. So you may as well be watching this today when I'm posting this, or you may be watching this in the future. But the point is that you are in calibration with the harmonic bandwidth of time that is now. That is now, and that is going to continue on in its wave, and you're actually here to anchor and render that wave on behalf of the ascension of the earth. You actually vibrating in resonance with this wave of the Starseed era is what you're here for, and your consciousness rendering these sequence of frequencies and harmonic template of ascension is of so much service to the collective, whereas there are so many different timelines and so many different kind of trajectories where the social landscape is wanting to co-create. You are there rendering the Starseed era, and it gets to be so good. It gets to be so good because this is the way you lived on your home dimensions. And yes, Earth is your home, but generally where your consciousness has always been more comfortable vibrating at. You are quite new to crystallizing, solidifying this on the third dimensional plane, let alone on the construct of the earth where there is so much diversity. And so this is a really new thing, and it's really exciting. There's a part of you that's so excited. You've been waiting for this all your life, whether you knew it or not. And the era has opened up now. And I'm going to be sharing with you 6 key codes and 6 key themes that I perceive around the Starseed era. They are not the only themes that are playing out for this bandwidth, but they are major components of what I see characterizes this way of life. It is definitely a new way of life, and it is against the grain of the mass society. So for us to actually connect through this medium of this video and through this community that is watching this video and really finding those patterns that are already present in your reality, you're actually helping to amplify that frequency and allow it to be one of the collective neural pathways that people have an option to resonate with. So these are actually patterns that you may already be recognizing in your life, and you feel this and you are just so happy that somebody else is talking about it, because it lets you know that you're not crazy, and it lets you know that you are valid, your experience is valid, and the changes that you are perceiving is valid. It's happening. And if you just want a little bit of connection with other people who are experiencing this that you may not witness in your immediate environment, just check the comments section in this video. You're gonna find tons of people there who are resonating with this actually happening. And we are not delusional, this is actually happening. And at the end of this video, I'll also be sharing with you a light language activation to help you really anchor into this frequency of the Starseed era, this reality interface that is really resonant with your home dimension of your consciousness. And again, this is how you live on other planetary systems, other stellar systems. So this is gonna feel like you are home here on Earth. It's gonna feel so good. And it's gonna start to feel so good. There's gonna be a part of your mind that thinks, why does this get to be so good? This is foreign, this is new, Earth life isn't like this. But the shift has happened. And it is largely thanks to your inner work, whether you realize that your inner work all these years has led up to this collective frequency of crystallization of this Starseed era. And yes, it can be really questionable, like how can your inner work for the past few years really have led up to this? But it's a collective effort that each of us who find each other here through this group frequency have all been doing genuine, serious, literal inner work, transmuting frequencies, transmuting ancestral lineages. And that has created this domino effect of this bandwidth opening up, not to mention this is a macro cosmic shift. So it's not like we were the ones who were trying to do this on an egoic level, like I want to evolve and ascend. Yes, but that was all as part of the greater electromagnetic signal of our planet and the sun and all of the planets in our solar system, seen and unseen, and of our galaxy, of ourselves. Like we're just responding to these signals of evolution, of life itself. So it's gonna be great. And again, when you find your mind thinking this is too good to be true, just remember I said this, we talked about it. Deep inside you know that you came here for this. Deep inside you know that when you incarnated here, there was this blissful shift that was meant to happen. And that's why you raised your hand and volunteered to come here, of course, for the service, but also there was so much in it for your enjoyment. It was meant to be enjoyable. So the reason why you start feeling guilty a little bit is actually because, again, this frequency wave is against the grain of the entire collective. The mass consciousness is not vibrating at this trajectory. And so when your life starts to take these shifts, you start to feel like maybe something is off. Is this really supposed to happen? No, what you're feeling is the little bit of the resistance from the mass consciousness. But at the end of the day, even the mass consciousness understands that this is meant to happen naturally. Just like how technologies are evolving in its own way. There's AI and there's VR and there's mixed reality. And I've been saying this for like 10 years. The same thing is happening with human consciousness. And starseeds are the forerunners, part of the forerunners of the evolution that is harmonic with all the other aspects of ascension. As I am discussing some of these key themes that are occurring through this Starseed era, you know, and it's not going anywhere. Starseed era is here to stay. And you may have been the weird person in the past, or you may have been an outcast in the past, but like you are actually stepping into the Starseed era, and it's gonna feel so good. And as I'm discussing these key themes, I'm not only sharing information, but I'm also sharing an energetic calibration. So you're gonna feel your neural pathways shifting. You're gonna feel your emotional body clearing. You're gonna feel an energy session as I discuss these points, and they're multi-dimensional frequencies as I communicate this. So it's not an informative educational video. It's not just like a forecast. It's a whole session. And at the end, you're also gonna have a full-blown light language channeling. So I hope you look forward to that. All the timestamps are gonna be below. And let's get on with our video. Number one key theme of the Starseed era, and I'm gonna begin with how it starts. This isn't gonna be for the whole way through until the end of time, but it's just how the Starseed era opens up. And this is what I was talking to this psychic, his name is Kadridge, and we were discussing this point, and he would call it the delta point. And it's a point where if you look at a river, and there is a bunch of different ways that a river would flow and split. So there's like rocks, and there's different segments where the river can flow. But at the end of the day, even if it takes one way or the other way or the other way, it all leads to the same ocean. And this is how the Starseed era begins, is that you're gonna find yourself in a position where there seems to be a lot of different choices for a lot of different things, a lot of different paths, and a lot of different decisions that you seem like you have to make that are not so clear anymore. And let me explain this. Back into the past timelines where you have walked thus far in your evolution, there was always more or less a pretty clear choice that was more aligned for your soul. So through that alchemical evolution, you've arrived at this new bandwidth where you are shifting and the collective reality is shifting. Actually, as a collective of entire humanity, we're all at this delta point where there's so many choices that you can make. But for you, for the Starseed incarnate, it's fascinating because, again, there used to be a very clear preferable choice that was more aligned for your soul. But at this point of evolution where you've refined yourself and alchemically evolved over time, essentially every choice is aligned. And you've never really been at this space before where basically almost all choices are aligned. And you may just confuse in your mind this whole paradigm of having a lot of choices where all seems aligned. And you may even think that you're not able to make a decision. But the truth is that now is this part where you get to practice preference. There is no solid thing that is more aligned for your evolution because all are aligned with your evolution, all are for the highest good, and all are aligned with your soul. And not everybody has access to this type, but the reason why your internal system feels confused is because there used to be a much better, preferable choice from a soul alignment level. But now when you're like naturally tuning in with your intuition and everything seems a little bit good and everything seems a little bit like aligned and you don't know which one is clear choice, it's because all choices are possible for you that is aligned for your soul, and you get to just trust your preference. And your intuition may be okay with all of them because all roads are leading to complete alignment. So that's a theme. And really, this is about sovereignty. This is a training ground, and why this is even happening is solidifying you in your sovereignty. So again, this sovereignty is actually a connected key code that is activating through this era. And you may be uncomfortable with this level of sovereignty that you did not have before. And how this could actually manifest as an initiation in your personal life is that you may hear a bunch of different guidance from sources that you truly respect, whether it is like light beings or angels or messages from the universe and signs, or even psychic mediums that you truly respect, channels that you truly respect. But when you're being trained for this level of sovereignty, you would have moments where something in your internal guidance, even though you trust literally all of them, and these messages could be coming from the highest level, but internally, there's a deep knowing that is pulling you in another direction. And again, the delta point thing is still active and relevant because if you listened to those signs and synchronicities, it's still fine. You will calibrate yourself. Like your frequency bandwidth is now an elastic band where even if you pulled it, it'll snap right back to this higher octave that you've materialized into your default consciousness. But again, you're gonna have moments where you're kind of tested, where you have this intuitive preference for something when all these different signs or even light beings or channels or healers, guides that are telling you another thing. And you gotta feel comfortable with your sovereign choice. And you're not going against any divine plan or any divine alignment. So it's a time where you're going to find safety in your own preference and understand that you honor your internal decision more than anything else, really, because you are at the level where you are at one with source. You are one with source in your consciousness. And it's one thing to say that, but now it's embodied, whole different level. So that was number one. And so I'm gonna teach you something that is gonna really help you when there is a point where you need to make a really important decision, or when you have to kind of make a choice where it feels like confusing, or it feels like you don't know even which one you prefer, even though this is all about your heart-based preference. If you feel confused, here is what you're gonna remember, is that we as human beings are so used to taking action and then expecting a certain result. So even when you're working on your frequency, even if you're working on your spiritual path, it's like you do something, you take some action, you make a choice, you make a decision, you choose this path, and then you expect the frequency to rise. Reverse. You choose the frequency, and then you witness the choices, the actions arise. I mean, they both work, but now you're practicing the higher level reversal of it, the top-down approach. So again, vibrate in the frequency of your destination, and then witness the choice basically make itself. Witness the actions basically take themselves. And this is going to assist you tremendously, because this is a new kind of navigational system that you're capable of performing on this planet Earth in 3D comfortably in consensus reality now that the Starseed era is here. Key theme number 2 is union. Genuine divine union. Monadic family union. So I know that there's going to be around 2 major types of people who are going to watch this portion, who already have a really solid soul group down, who already have connected with their soul family. And then there's going to be the types of people, Starseeds, who maybe not even prioritize connections until this moment. But as you are watching this, I know you feel this shift, that you feel that you are about to have your soul community. And let me tell you, both types are going to be so surprised. Type number 1, where you already have a good sense of soul family network, who love their friends, their community so much, are going to be surprised because they're going to meet some key people who they didn't even know they existed, that were going to be so crucial in their circle of community, their circle of soul family, that is indispensable to the community, that they didn't even realize that their circle was not whole yet, because they've never met these type 2 starseeds that have walked their solitude path, that have yet to be reunited with their monadic family. So when we're talking about this monadic family, your monadic level of consciousness is basically some of the highest tiers of your levels of consciousness, where the group soul that is emanating from that level, which is directly a branch off of your soul star network, who are here on Earth, who you forgot they even exist because you've never came across them. That's type 2. And then type 1 is like they already got this huge network that they've already linked with, and they're gonna find each other. And it's gonna be this incredible supernova, because again, these groups that are already so strong and connected didn't even realize that they could level up even more And these type 2s are these archetypal souls that have a very key function in the way that these networks somehow elevate and evolve and ascend to another level. So in this Starseed era, your soul family network community is going through Hyros Gamos on a very communal level, which is everyone who is experiencing that fusion is going to experience this tantric embodied connection that is so far beyond explanation. And the codes that each person carries in that network is activating each other on a quantum level just by being present in each other's fields. And it's not even like you have to be next to each other. It's just in even knowing each other's existence. And majority of these high-level starseeds or hybrids or light workers are going to find their true divine union. And a good chunk of those starseeds are not even looking for that. They feel so complete in oneself that they don't even need that. But you're gonna just be mind blown when this happens. And it's such a purposeful connection that is so far beyond your preference of if you want to be alone or with a partner or whatnot, because it is going to create this alchemical shift. And this level of non-duality that was going on alchemically internally is going to manifest itself as non-duality on the external plane with another person. And it is like this epitome of the polarity that is created through this third dimension and the third density, and how that polarity mends itself through experience is with a divine union. And the spectrums of experience that are expressions of the illusion of separation and the artistry and the poetry that arises from the dispelling of that illusion is physical connection with other individuated beings while maintaining unity consciousness. And it's going to be this theatrical experience that we're all going to get to receive. Theme number 3 is the time code crystal. And this theme in particular, I want to emphasize the frequency aspect to this words that I'm speaking. And it is laid out with this constructive light tool technology that I am sharing for you to integrate so you can better navigate through the experience of implementing this in your own life. So the time continuum and the way that you experience the continuum of time is going to crystallize in a multidimensional crystal that is embodied in the third dimension, yet is also encompassing the higher dimensional aspects of your consciousness. And what that is going to look like is that instead of being controlled by time, you're going to be a master and the driver of time itself. And it is going to be a carrier of your channeling of your higher dimensional consciousness to express your soul stream onto the physical plane through this time code crystal. So whereas the previous time continuum is basically conditioned to be this flat out linear grid, you are receiving this crystalline multidimensional template where in the time continuum evolves itself as a multidimensional crystal, and you get to experience your reality and your subjectivity through the multidimensional prism that is going to be inherent in your soul frequency in navigating through multiple different time continuums through all multiverses. You have a time code crystal that is multidimensional that you utilize to navigate through all of these different time continuums. Our time continuum on Earth is unique to us, and it is a unique template even within our solar system. If you go to another planet or another moon of our solar system, and I just want to highlight that there are seen planets that you're aware of, like Venus, Jupiter, Mars, Pluto, blah, blah, blah. And there are unseen planets within our solar system that is hidden beyond our sense of sight. And if you go to another planetary matrix, the time code crystal functions differently. The time continuum functions differently. Our planet Earth has a specialized time continuum that is consensusly agreed upon, that is this flat out linear matrix, and it is going to warp itself into a portal, so to speak, or it's actually, I take back the word portal because it's more like a spaceship. That's how I could describe it, but I guess I would call it a time ship. It is like a spaceship in a way that if you imagine a spaceship travels through the space continuum and it's able to navigate through the unlimited spectrum of space safely and conducively while maintaining your sovereignty. Same with the time ship. So this time code crystal is the vehicle in which you get to render multiple dimensions and infinite levels of your consciousness onto crystallizing that underneath the continuum of time. And as you activate this time code crystal, and multiple starseeds continue to activate their time code crystal, where the way that we think about time, this linear time of days and weeks and months and seconds and minutes, that is, you can probably feel that it's warping, and they are opening different dimensional portals and they're opening different timelines, and your navigation through it is going to upgrade, and you're going to feel so stable. And as a result, you're going to feel present, but present in a way that is not the notion of past, future, and present. That is still such a linear concept of thinking present is not the past, not the future. No, this presence is all encompassing of those infinite spectrums of time, of past, future, present, and all of those dimensionalities of time that you haven't yet got to learn on the physical Earth at all. And you're going to get to learn all these time codes and these infrastructures and interfaces of time from multiple different stellar systems, and the lunar systems of different planetary systems, and you get to kind of have your own matrix that is unique to the journey that your soul represents through these stellar systems and planetary and lunar systems onto planet Earth. And you're going to feel presence that transcends the human notion of presence, but is a multi-dimensional presence, and this unity grid that the time continuum is able to channel through your sovereign soul. Whew, damn. Okay. And with that comes an emotional body upgrade. Time and your rendering of time is very deeply connected with your emotional body. And our emotional body as humans, and the emotions that you've been carrying around through this lunar system that has been quite manipulated with and tampered with, our lunar system. So our moon is quite tampered with, not in a negative fear-based way, but just it is what it is. And the way that you have been relating to your emotions is going to go through a drastic shift, and can guarantee you've already actually been experiencing this, where you'll find yourself in these cycles of emotions, but somehow they have different pathways in way they disperse, or the way they navigate themselves, or the way there's literally like wormholes in the way that you can interact with your emotional body, where you can portal in different frequencies from different timelines and higher aspects of yourself. So just to make it kind of flat out, so that it's easier to understand, a lot of times when somebody is feeling an emotion, that emotion has all these cords and anchor points to the past, and also the future, and also the ancestral lineage, and also past lives, parallel lives, and this way of flat out linear construct of the time continuum and the astral body that had been tampered with was one of the reasons why it was so stuck, in a way that when somebody is feeling an emotion and it triggers something, and it's like very difficult to get out of that. It almost feels synthetic, whereas this heart-based time crystal, it has a way of really being able to neutralize these frequencies and take in these different quantum timelines and integrate it, instead of relying on this sequential line of events. So this is going to drastically change the way you process your emotions, and you're gonna find that surprisingly, and happily surprisingly, you are no longer bound by the heavy gravity of your emotional body, because your emotional body is going through these crystalline upgrades in conjunction with your time continuum. Theme number 4 is grace. And this grace comes with frequencies of your heart, compassion, and love. And listen to me when I say this with an open mind, where I say that grace is a field of light technology that you can implement and activate in your field. And it is a primary frequency that is activating in the Starseed. And this is the part where life starts to get better and better and better, easier and easier and easier, just better and better. And it feels like heaven on earth. And it starts to feel like, is this really okay to happen? Because grace is not really in the construct of the mass society that we are growing and evolving out of. So it is a code that once you begin activating, it's gonna feel like there is some sort of a bit of a resistance from the collective, but this is a technology that you get to utilize. So grace is a frequency technology that once you get acquainted with that frequency, it activates certain pathways of events. So the easiest way I could describe this is, imagine a fire. Fire can be utilized as a technology, right? If you take anything that you want to burn and you take it to fire, it burns it. It changes the composition of the material that you're bringing to the fire. So imagine grace is like its own light harmonic technology, that anything you bring to grace, it creates a different electromagnetic patterning to what it is that you are bringing in light of grace. So this activating in you, in your field, it is a technology. It's like this crystalline template, and grace has a very strong frequency. It is a gift from the Divine Mother. And whatever it is that you are moving through, the grace frequency will naturally activate, and this will be a constant that is running in your field at all times, because as you activate through this Starseed era, and this is actually occurring as a result of the plasmic waves that are filling up our atmosphere, first of all from our solar system, but actually a lot of this is coming from the Sirius solar system. And this plasmic waves are integrating into our planet, and it has these frequency codes of grace that we're beginning to literally materialize. And it's going into our cells, it's going into our food, it's going into our water system, it's going into our air system. So it's just abundantly being activated. And for those who are able to actually identify this tool and technology, and even if you didn't know that this was actually being implemented into the plasmic programming of our solar systems, then you would still be able to experience this, and you'll eventually realize that your life just starts getting like easier. It's like inputting a cheat code into any video game that you play. I don't know if you ever played video games or if you ever use a cheat code, but I used to. Why wouldn't I use cheat codes? I mean, when I used to play video games, I would always use cheat codes. It's just so much easier. And that's exactly what happens when you have this grace technology, is that the life, your entire reality simulation has a cheat code, but it's not cheating because it's not cheating. It's just a function. It's a feature of consciousness. Grace is a feature of consciousness that you have the right to use if you like it. It's not a cheat. It's not a hack. I don't like that the words cheat and hack are the ways that you use this, but it's grace. It's a feature of starseed consciousness, and it's being activated because that is the new evolution of life itself. It's eventually gets graceful. Just like if you look at flowers, they're some of the most enlightened form of the plant consciousness, or flowers. It just exudes grace. And the way of flowers are just graceful. And that's the code that could be playing out in your life. Be a flower. Also, is that this is an activation from the heart. Aside from the plasmic waves and the plasmic codes that are altering our field, grace is also a result of you opening your heart. And all of the starseeds, the high level architect starseeds, have been opening their heart field, working on their heart field. And as the heart opens, the heart portal and the high heart opening, it creates this field of grace around them. The heart frequency is the source of grace that is in correspondence to the plasmic codes of grace. So when you have your heart open, it resonates with the plasmic codes of grace, and it creates this crystalline field that exudes outwards. When somebody is receiving all these plasmic codes, for example, and they haven't gone through a heart awakening, they're unable to match the grace frequency and receive and harness the grace frequency that is being bombarded onto our planet through the plasmic codes from the stellar system, from the solar system, and from Sirius, so on and so forth. Also Orion, actually. I don't want to leave that out because that is a big source of where we receive these plasmic frequencies. But essentially, for those people, for you who have opened your heart, who have opened your high heart and is living through the heart, literally embodying life through the heart, when the plasmic frequencies hit our atmosphere, you're able to receive and harness those grace templates as they merge and crystallize. And so you have this field of path that is laid out in front of you that is in flow, is effortless, and it feels like it's just been gifted to you as a blessing every step of the way. And this also opens up this compassion, this genuine compassion, first and foremost and most primarily to yourself. You're going to find that you start to actually perceive yourself from the eyes of God, from the eyes of your higher self. And whereas before you may have been super hard on yourself and judgmental, you're going to start to see this grace frequency exudes to your self-perception with compassion. And you're going to just start to treat yourself better and start to treat yourself with more gentleness and nurturing yourself. And from there is the magic of self-love, that infinite doors of blessings open up. So you're going to enjoy that. And it's just going to keep amplifying, 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 amplifying. And this is the Starseed era. This is your era. Next theme is the choice of trust. And this is really, really a powerful code that opens up almost all of your gifts. Because as an archetypal blueprint starseed that you already have all these gifts. Like, for example, I could sit there and say like, oh, you have psychic abilities. You have the ability to manifest effortlessly. You have the ability to reach enlightenment, or you have the ability to telepathically communicate or quantum shift. And all of these things don't need to be overly pursued because it's all within you. And you actually run through this dimension while all of these gifts are already active, while not even knowing it. But the primary reason that you're just running around as if you don't have all these abilities is because you lacked trust in yourself and in the universe. So trust is actually a choice that you get to practice it really self-actualizes with you. So if you choose not to trust the universe, it will just reflect that. If you ever had mistrust in the universe or mistrust in yourself and the mistrust in the future, it's kind of a self-perpetuating cycle, isn't it? Because you're just gonna have this frequency of mistrust, and the vibratory reflections from your universe and from yourself is going to represent this mistrust. So it's a cycle and a loop that had been going on, but this Starseed era is where you come into true recognition in your choice to trust. And this choice to trust, you grace it to the universe and you grace it to yourself, just like you're receiving grace through your heart and from the plasma. Take that frequency and express that in form of trust to yourself and the universe. When you choose to trust yourself, and when you choose to trust the universe, and when you choose to trust your future, pathways open up that align with your trust. Can you really look at yourself? Can you really tell yourself, have you ever trusted yourself 100%? Past the era of social conditioning. So I'm sure you trusted yourself when you were an infant and a baby, but after you got all this social conditioning, have you really given yourself the blessing of fully trusting yourself 100%? Like ride or die, trust yourself. Like you just completely have faith in yourself. Have you ever had that trust with the universe? Or were you even just like, I trust the universe, I trust the divine, like 90%, but maybe 10% it's gonna screw me over? Like, did you always have this little bit of a tint of a doubt? Because if you did, this is the moment where you get to realize the significance of actually choosing to invest in trusting the universe with your entire heart, mind, soul, and just trusting yourself. And yes, it's gonna sometimes look like making choices and decisions and taking risks that you're like, this is really scary, but the scariness comes from your lack of trust, and you get to just choose to shift that and trust. Trust, no matter what happens, that you'll be able to guide yourself to align and respond, and you trust the universe, that the universe is one with you, which is the truth. So this choice of trust will ripple out, that you're gonna suddenly start to trust what you see. Even clairvoyantly, most of you have this amazing clairvoyance, but you just feel like you're blinded, or you act like it's not there because you're terrified of getting it wrong. When you know, you can trust yourself and trust what you see, and trust that even if it wasn't really correct on the long run, what you see now and trusting what you see now is a pivotal part of the whole picture. So you're gonna start to really activate your dormant gifts and abilities, your psychic abilities, your intuition, your metaphysical abilities, your manifestation abilities. Because also not trusting yourself is the reason why you don't manifest a lot of things. And I have a lot to say about manifestation. Please don't take this as if I'm talking about manifestation like other people are talking. I'm talking about manifestation I have a very, 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 very serious paradigm shift on the topic of manifestation, and I will eventually talk about that in the future. And I'm actually gonna release a course around that. Has been the service of my work channeling this. But the point is, a lot of it is being able to trust that what you want to manifest is actually what you're worthy of, or that what you really want from all levels. And the other element is that you're not trusting that once you get it, that you'll still be completely aligned to who you are at your core, because you're afraid of the shift that may occur, the changes, and you're lacking trust in your ability to navigate through those changes. So really, trust is a key component that is solidifying. So in this Starseed era, you're gonna get this whole new perspective and code and this devotion. And I would even say this, what is the word that I'm looking for? Discipline of trust. Trust is a choice and trust is a discipline. Just like how you exercise in the gym for your muscles, it's a discipline that you build and it's a choice that you get to shift. And when you make a choice to trust, like totally, when you truly choose to trust that maybe you haven't even trusted anyone in your life before to that degree, well, who else better to trust than yourself and the divine? So when you choose that, you're gonna drastically sense an entire shift of timelines. Like literally the highest timelines clicking into your current moment based on that trust that reflects the trust that you have on your path. Whew. The final theme of the Starseed era that I'll discuss today, and I'm sure there's many more, but I'll just do 6 today that are coming up that I'm guided to, is of being seen. And I know that you haven't been seen in your life. And I'm not talking about just like visibility. Maybe some of you watching this probably have like hundreds of thousands of followings. And I'm not talking about the regular sense of visibility. Like, yes, some of you watching this video will definitely have a big influence. Maybe you have a big following on social media. Maybe you're famous in some way. Maybe you already perform in a big crowd. I'm not talking about that surface level visibility, although a lot of you will actually get there because of the sheer level of energy that you're anchoring in. If you imagine these light codes that you are harnessing and anchoring in your sovereign field, and the more you work on your sovereign field, the more you amplify your sovereign field and you ground it into the earth, you won't be able to help but actually be seen as a reflection of that. And in this landscape, this social landscape especially, where we're connected on multiple different dimensions, not only energetically, but actually through our technology, we are connected on virtual levels where virtuality is another sub-dimension. It's not something completely imaginary. It's an actual literal sub-dimension that we are connected to each other with. And so that is one surface part, but what I really mean is you're gonna be seen for who you are. Not just seen from a surface level, but seen for actually who you are. Whereas you felt misunderstood in the past, you felt like people just didn't get you. In this era, people are gonna actually see who you are. And why? Is first of all, again, because the collective mass has these cracks in their consensus neural pathway. So imagine there's a collective brain. We have our own brain and our own neural networks, and then there's a morphogenetic brain that it's an entire neural pathways firing up together of the collective brain. And what happened during the pandemic, which just signals, I don't want to pinpoint that to the actual pandemic, but what happens is that it created this pattern interruption. So what I really mean is there was this huge pattern interruption for 2 years where people experienced something that they never thought was going to happen in that way. A lot of people predicted a lot of different things about the human civilization, but the way that unfolded, nobody could have imagined it was going to be like that. And that was a collective pattern interruption. And so that created these cracks for the light to come in, because there's all these plasmic waves and these new frequencies, these new dimensional shifts, all these new electromagnetic fields of signals from the earth and the sun and the different planetary solar systems outside of our solar system that is, nurturing this planet earth with ascension codes. And those codes were able to fill into the collective pathways through that pattern interruption where there was no space before. Some of these space has been cleared because of this paradigm shift, and the new codes are able to anchor in. And so even though there's going to be people who can't relate to you on a lot of different levels, like the normies, as we would call it. Literally, even some of those people will see you for who you are and not misunderstand you. And where a lot of times what will happen when your frequency is of a range that is very extraterrestrial or interdimensional or extra dimensional to the consensus reality, what people will end up doing is like project their own extraneous frequencies or unprocessed frequencies, and they'll project it onto that unseen kind of aspect where it acts like a mirror. And so a lot of times what you would have done is like, you know, when you trigger people, it's not because you're actually triggering people for the reasons that you may think, but it's because your interdimensional or extra dimensional frequencies that are kind of foreign to the collective pathway, it creates this reflection where their unprocessed energies will bounce onto them. And yeah, that's why also like high frequencies really create these purges. This is part of the reason why. And what happens now is that because some of those energies have been processed into the collective pathway, that people could actually see you for who you are, because those new ascension timelines, new ascension frequencies have been kind of integrated with the collective consensus brain. So people actually start to see you for who you are. And then the other factor to this, there's always multiple different explanations for why everything is happening. Everything is always multidimensional. The other aspect to this is because you're beginning to see reality for the truth of what it is. You're beginning to see yourself as the truth of who you are. And this creates this shift in the way that other people perceive you, because in contrast to the genuine truth of reality that you're able to perceive, you haven't seen reality as the truth of what it is up until this point. And through the alchemical work and through the evolutionary shifts, you're actually beginning to process reality closer to the ultimate truth. And it's never going to be a static ultimate truth, because that's not what we're here to experience. We're here to experience a dynamic flow of truth. And you're beginning to perceive reality very much in alignment with the dynamic flow of truth. And that creates the external projections onto you, perceive you with a level of truth as well, because that's the vibration you're giving out, is perception of truth. So you're beginning to be seen. And so even if you're already seen by a lot of people, even if you have visibility, you may have caused a lot of misunderstandings, or people just project this character onto you. Whereas moving forward through the Starseed era, you're going to actually be understood and felt for the essence of who you are. The essence of who you are is seen, felt, understood, and respected. And again, for a lot of people, this is going to look like a vibration of communities connecting with you and resonating with your authentic frequencies. Okay, well, that about wraps up the key codes that I wanted to share with you around the Starseed era. I hope you enjoyed that. And now we're gonna go on to the light language activation. And I wanna give you a chance to tune into your intuition. If you wanna go straight into that activation now, you can go ahead and do that. Just get comfortable and close your eyes, and however you like to receive. Or if this entire transmission has been enough for you to process, you can also come back to the activation part later, because there will be a timestamp to where the activation actually begins. All right. Thank you so much for your presence in this beautiful community. And don't forget, if you enjoy my teachings and activations, I have a Patreon group where I literally share hundreds of exclusive activations and teachings. Enjoy the activation and have a great integration. Tuning into your heart space, activating the high spiritual field through your heart in resonance with the one universal heart, arriving here and now, grounding to the planetary core of the earth, connecting heart to heart with the earth, allowing the grounding energetics to take place, and connecting with your source level of being in communion with source, invoking in your higher self, your galactic teams, the highest available galactic frequencies, angelic frequencies, to assist through this opening of this portal to ground and anchor in, stabilize the Starseed era code through each individual tuned into this transmission. Relax, receive. Tuning into the system of Sirius and the plasmic programming of the Ascension codes, connecting heart to heart with Sirius and receiving the heart of this code of the plasmic frequencies of the Ascension timelines of the Starseed era, unveiling itself through the Mayan calendar code. Connecting with the heart of Orion, the Orion stellar system, and the Orion plasmic codes. Mi koro aran aiskuru ishk aisa aniroik aranaisia o ka ara ai soro oena aisuishu amira akara yarun koro ka aisa shumakara aishu yara akara arana aishu omoroe anuko onoro o orunoro ka aishu. Breathe, receive, breathe. Connecting with the plasmic frequencies of the Earth and the stellar network of our solar system, syncing, rippling through these upgrades, through these new time code continuums that are anchoring through. Relax and receive. Let go of your mind stream. It is safe to let go of your mental stream. It is safe to relax your mind. It is safe to be present in your higher mind. It is safe to be here, embodied in your physical vessel, vibrant, radiant. It is safe to be here right now in your higher dimensional interface, embodied, anchored. Breathe. Invoking in your archetypal blueprints from Atlantis, Lemuria, Sirius, Orion, and all of your stellar networks of your home, planetary frequencies of your home, stellar frequencies, harmonizing to be anchored through your heart, in your vessel, in your body. Release any fears, release any doubts. Fully seeing, witnessing, feeling the golden path ahead of you, the divinely aligned path that you are currently anchoring through this new octave of consciousness. It is safe to embody this octave, this higher octave of consciousness. The collective is ready to receive this consciousness. Breathe. Receive. Receiving through your high heart. Relax. Open up your channels. Receiving code 1, flowing through the delta point. Kiara sakoi akira asakuruma asha shukuruma asiara shukurna asiara shukuruma ai ira as ai sukunuro eme a karai yara isukunuro ya asia shukma aisa sukurumo rokara yasakura sa shumo ko asiara shukara and makoroi yara si asukunuro shu. Breathing, receiving, relax. Code 2, Monadic Divine Union. Connecting with your true Monadic soul family. It is safe to connect with your Monadic soul family. It is time. Yoroeranai I see I shko I see akara arna I see akarai. Ko I see shko I noroesa I see ko yara ira arak omerai see shu I shu I sa shu. Flushing your field to receive this calibration of the higher scamos internally expressed, externally rippling, shifting. Make arais ak ara aki asaka aisa shu. Code 3. Activating your time code crystal. Breathing and receiving. Tuning in to your lunar field, your astral field. Releasing and flushing through these fields with the celestial rose of the Pleiadian Council of Light of the highest frequencies to vibrate and vacuum up any debris of the distorted lunar templates, installing in the original lunar templates for the ascended Gaian Golden Age Collective. Receiving this calibration right now. Thank you, Pleiadian Council of Light. I sai, I sai, I kiara I sai kore karai sai shuro kara I nikurai sai shuro ka I shu. Connecting fully with your mothership, receiving your unique Oversoul time code crystal directly from the heart of your Oversoul, through your heart, through your third eye, your pineal gland, your crown, into every respective meridian, through all of your micro channels and your macro channels. Receive, calibrate, ripple through your time continuum, rendering interface your default level of consciousness, upgrading, up leveling, light quotient upgrade right now. Ma'araka eyesight dimensional construct upgrade right now. Akira eyesight, enabling the full flowering of your multidimensional time code crystal to be activated in your baseline consciousness through your mind. Rippling out in all directions of time in your memories and your future projections into your multidimensional presence through your heart, ground into this time code crystal, allowing this to ripple through your field for your highest good through the assistance of your higher self and your own sovereign monadic galactic
team. Calling in the solar dragons of light of the highest frequencies to assist with this process of plasmic calibration of this influx of energies coming online right now. Receive. Linking up with your Lyran golden builder templates, rippling through these templates of ascension that you are here to anchor and embody through this multidimensional time code crystal. Spinning this, and spinning this in its inherent sovereign frequency of ascension. United as one through your field. Linking this up through your seraphim level network of light. The seraphim dragons receiving these heart transmissions, the white rainbow light, biophotonic upgrades through your cellular being, your plasmic being, synchronizing. Breathing and receiving, opening up to receive. Code 4. The light technology of grace. The feature of grace to be able to function as an elemental technology through the energetic field, inviting in the crystalline template of grace that is inherent in your soul's blueprint to be integrated right now, allowing this crystal of grace, a gift of the Divine Mother, to be placed gently in your field, witnessing these frequencies comb through your field gently, brushing through your field gently, brushing through your timelines, and requesting that the field of grace operates in your field in a consistent, dynamic vibration at all times, as long as it serves your highest alignment to your divine self. Receiving this grace, frequency, technology, the higher light crystal. Harayarna I suru akiara anora I sia shuru yara yara kore I nura sa shuru kai yuruka arana I sa shumai aranai ira koro era I sai. Breathing in and receiving. Code 5. The choice of trust. Anchoring in your sovereign choice of trust and empowering every single timeline with your choice of trust, crystallizing, anchoring in the true, multifaceted level of divine trust in yourself and in the universe and in your divine self, vibrating in the full spectrum of trust. Receive. Na ka aira sai shai korba ai sai kara ara na ai karai sai yara kormo yara sai shuma karai. I choose to trust. Yara rumora a kiarai sai shai karanai. I choose to trust. I choose to trust fully and completely in the divine self. Rippling through every single dimension, every single timeline, space-time continuum, every single vibratory fractal and hologram. The sovereign choice to trust. Receive. I karana I sai karai ayana karai I sakarana I karamai nakarue I kiranai sai kurmo arena karare I karanai yarai sukurmoro I shuma I hu aranai sai shuma karai. Breathing and receiving the final code, key 6. The code of being seen in truth and in seeing the truth, receiving this stream of non-duality in its fullest spectrum down into your third eye, activating, receiving, shifting all levels of your self-perception and your self-image and your prefrontal cortex and all of the relative entanglements of your mental, emotional fields, vibrational frequencies, memory fractals. Transmute, vibrating upwards, alchemizing into the true essence of who you are, into the true essence of reality, into the true essence of the divine. Receive. Hirai sai kiara arana ai skala ani arai soi ka ara ai sakai sai shara mai ki ara noroi shumaka ai shumaka arai sakara shumaka ai shuka ara noroi ka aranai yarai sakuru ai shumaka rai sai shu yarai si arana koroi ara sakara aniroi sakiroi sai. Breathe. Receive. And anchor into your heart, stabilizing into your heart, breathing in your heart, in your one heart. Now, sealing this field totally and completely, Starseed Era Code activation complete. Please take full, deep breaths to integrate these energies. Breathe and feel into the physical expression of your body. Vibrating in gratitude, in completion, in total arrival to this Starseed era. You are in the Starseed era. Wake up. You are in the Starseed era. It is time. You're now in the Starseed era. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for your work on behalf of the Earth's ascension and the universal collective. Ground crew, well done. And gratitude to all levels of your being. And the earth, and our suns, source and void. Please take full deep breaths and rest and integrate. Thank you.